everyone. Welcome to all of you in the lecture series of the course of Novel Technology in Food Processing and Preservation. Continuing the lecture on membrane separation technology, today in lecture 4, we will discuss on membrane performance and design calculation. The industrial thermal processing of foods may have a severe impact on the sensorial and nutritional properties of the final food product. Over the past few years, the search for viable alternatives to traditional process based on membranes has led to introduction of separation process. Membrane technology often offers cheaper capital and utility cost and has displaced conventional separation techniques in many areas. Like other processing areas, wider use of membrane separation technology is anticipated in the future in food processing operation. Therefore, increasing market for membrane technology has motivated interest in development of reliable design strategy that aim to optimize the economic performance of membrane separation system. I am sanguine that after the completion of this lecture, you will be quite able to understand and apply design parameters to improve the performance of membranes. So as discussed earlier, reverse osmosis is a special type of filtration that uses a semi-permeable membrane, thin membrane with pores small enough to pass pure water through while rejecting larger molecules such as dissolved salts or ions and other impurities such as bacteria, viruses and suspended solids. The typical particle size pore size for micro or reverse osmosis ranges for less than about 0.001 micrometer and operating pressure is around 30 to 60 bar. In terms of approximate molecular weight, these membranes can separate macromolecules of molecular weights generally in the range of 100 to 300 gram per mole. Reverse osmosis is a pressure-driven membrane process that entails forcing fluids through a membrane. High is the pressure and high is the driving force. For high pressure, which is necessary to overcome osmotic pressure, in upcoming slide we will discuss about the osmotic pressure and its importance in terms of food products, that how we can find the osmotic pressure, and for that we can design such a reverse osmosis membrane that can operate with this type of osmotic pressure. Further, to understand the purpose and process of reverse osmosis, we must first understand the natural occurring process of osmosis. Osmosis and reverse osmosis are two phenomena that occur naturally in living beings in daily life. In osmosis, water molecules move across a semi-permeable membrane from a higher concentration liquid to lower one. This required no extra energy condition nor any external process. Example of osmosis in our daily life are when plant root absorbs water from the soil, or our kidney absorb water from our blood. Below is a diagram which shows how osmosis works. A solution that is less concentrated will have a natural tendency to migrate to a lower solution with a higher concentration. For example, if you have a container full of water with a low salt concentration and another container full of water with a high salt concentration, and they were separated by a semi-permeable membrane, then the water with the lower salt concentration would begin to migrate towards the water container with the higher salt concentration. Further, reverse osmosis is the process of osmosis in reverse. Whereas osmosis occurs naturally without energy required, to reverse the process of osmosis, we do need to apply energy to the more saline solution. A reverse osmosis membrane is a semi-permeable membrane that allows the passage of water molecules but not most dissolved salts organic, bacteria and pyrogens. However, we must need to push the water through the reverse osmosis membrane by applying pressure that is greater than the natural occurring osmotic pressure in order to designate or demineralize or deionize water in the process, allowing pure water through while holding back a majority of contaminants. Another below is a diagram outlining the process of reverse osmosis. When pressure is applied to concentrated solution, the water molecules are forced through the semi-permeable membrane and the contaminants are not allowed through. Thus, to understand the RO membrane, how it functions, we need to understand the mechanism of reverse osmosis. Reverse osmosis works by using a high pressure pump to increase the pressure on the salt side of the RO and force the water across the semi-permeable membrane. RO membrane leaving all around 95 to 99% of dissolved salts behind in the reject stream. This semi-permeable membrane acts as a filter for stopping harmful chemicals, organic materials, sediments and other impurities to pass through. The amount of pressure required depends on the salt concentration of the feed water. The more concentrated the feed water, the more pressure is required to overcome the osmotic pressure. The desalinated water that is demineralized or deionized is called permeate or product in case of water especially. The water stream that carries the concentrated contaminants that didn't pass through the RO membrane is called the reject or concentrated stream. Here the given diagram highlights the working of reverse osmosis process. As the feed water enters the RO membrane under pressure, that is enough pressure to overcome osmotic pressure, the water molecules pass through the semi-permeable membrane and the salts and other contaminants are not allowed to pass and are discharged through the reject stream, also known as rejectant or concentrant, which goes to drain or can be fed back into the feed water supply in some circumstances to be recycled through the RO is called permeate or product water and usually has around 95 to 99% as said earlier of the dissolved salts removed from it. In recent past few years, application of reverse osmosis as membrane technology in food industry has been accelerated exponentially. The main example includes removal of microorganisms from foods, purification or concentration of water, fruit juice, vegetable juice, soy, as well as wine and beer. Again, another use with reverse osmosis as membrane technology includes concentration or separation, purification of proteins, polypeptides, fats and sugars, purification of oil, distillation of oil and wastewater treatment where membrane separation technology in the form of reverse osmosis is used because of the property of reverse osmosis that it works with a pore size less than 0.001 micrometer and operates in the range of 30 to 60 bar. So there are ample of examples where reverse osmosis as membrane separation technology is being utilized. Like other areas, it is also being used in food processing operation for effective separation with novel and advanced techniques as a reverse osmosis. Further, there are handful of calculations that are required used to judge the performance of an RO system and also for design consideration. An RO system has instrumentation that displays quality, flow, pressure and sometimes other data like temperature or hours of operation. In order to accurately measure the performance of an RO system, we may need the following operation parameter at minimum: feed pressure, permeate pressure, concentrate pressure, feed conductivity, permeate conductivity, feed and permeate flow, temperature. So these parameters are very helpful for the measurement of the performance and design calculation of RO membrane system. Here first we will discuss about the salt rejection, which is a measuring parameter. This equation tells how effective the RO membranes are removing contaminants. It doesn't tell how each individual membrane is performing, but rather how the system overall on average is performing. A well-defined RO system with properly functioning RO membranes will reject 95 to 99% of most feedwater contaminants. It can be determined how effectively the RO membranes are removing contaminants by using the following equation, that is salt rejection percentage is conductivity of feed water minus conductivity of permeate water upon conductivity of feed multiplied by 100. So the salt rejection is all about the difference of conductivity of feed water and permeate water to the conductivity of feed. The higher the salt rejection, the better the system is performing. A low salt rejection can mean that membrane requires cleaning or replacement. Another performance parameter is salt rejection, is salt passage. Salt passage is simply the inverse of salt rejection described in previous equation, that is the difference between the conductivity of feed water and permeate water with conductivity of feed. This is the amount of salt expressed as percentage that are passing through the RO system. The lower the salt passage, the better the system is performing. A high salt passage can mean that membrane require cleaning or replacement. Another parameter to indicate the performance of a RO membrane is recovery. Recovery, that is expressed in terms of percentage recovery. Percentage recovery is the amount of water that is being recovered as good permeate water. Another way of think of percent recovery is the amount of water that is not sent to drain as concentrate but rather collected as permeate or product water. The higher the recovery percentage means that you are sending less water to drain as concentrate and saving more permeate water. However, if the percentage recovery is too high, then it can lead to larger problem due to scaling and falling and hence need replacement very shortly. The percentage recovery for an RO system is established with the help of design software taking into consideration numerous factors such as feed water chemistry and RO pretreatment before the RO system. Therefore, the percentage recovery at which an RO it can be quickly determined if the system is operating outside of the intended design. The calculation for percentage recovery is given here as percentage recovery equal to permeate flow rate in terms of GPM, that is gallon per minute, to the feed flow rate in gallon per minute multiplied by 100. So with this equation we can find percentage recovery. For example, if the recovery rate is 75%, then this means for every 100 liter of feed water that enters in the RO system, it has been recovering 75 liter as usable permeate water and 25 liter are going to drain or concentrate. Industrial RO system typically run anywhere from 50 to 85% recovery depending on the feed water characteristics and other design consideration like feed water chemistry and depending parameters. Again, another equation that influences the performance of RO membrane is concentration factor. The concentration factor is related to the RO system recovery is an important equation for RO system design. The more water can be recovered as permeate, the more concentrated salts and contaminants can be collected in the concentration stream. This can lead to higher potential for scaling on the surface of RO membrane when the concentration factor is too high for the system design and feed water composition. The calculation for concentration factor is dependent on the percentage recovery and is expressed as concentration factor is equal to 100 upon 100 minus recovery in percentage. And the last equation that tells about the performance of RO membrane is flux. Flux is all about flux. Here given equation is flux G in terms of gallon per square feet per day is GPM per feet into 24 into 60 per day upon number of RO elements into system into a square foot, that is the give about the area. So this is all about how much water flow per unit area. This is one of the major performance parameter that tells about the effectiveness of a membrane performance, and it is calculated as told you in the equation. The determination of osmotic pressure as critical parameter responsible for the efficiency of the membrane separation in food processing operation. Understanding the procedure to determine the osmotic pressure helps you to know about the amount of pressure needed during reverse osmosis operation in membrane separation. Here two equation is used for determination of osmotic pressure. First one is the Bantoff and second one is the Gibbs equation. The osmotic pressure of a dilute solution can be obtained by Bantoff's equation, which uses colligative property of liquid solutions. You might have familiar with this equation, that is pi is osmotic pressure is equal to C into R into T upon M, where pi is the osmotic pressure in Pascal, C is the solute concentration having kg per meter cube of solution, T is absolute temperature and R is universal gas constant and M is the molecular weight of the solution. Another equation found to be more accurate over a wide range of solute concentration is Gibbs relationship, and it is expressed as pi equal to minus RT ln XA upon Vm, where Vm is the molar volume per liquid and XA is the mole fraction of pure liquid. In the coming slide, we will discuss about this equation in forms of numerical problem to understand you the things very deeply. It has been found experimentally that foods with smaller molecular weights constitutes have higher osmotic pressure. Data on osmotic pressure of foods or food component is very limited till now, but are very important in membrane processing while calculating the membrane performance. For example, in order to achieve separation in a reverse osmosis membrane, the pressure applied to feed solution must exceed the osmotic pressure. For the convenience of your understanding, a problem has been discussed that entails you to calculate osmotic pressure using both discussed equation, that is Bantoff equation and Gibbs equation, in next slide. Here there is a numerical problem that we are going to use for the determination of osmotic pressure for given orange juice. In this problem, a RO system is selected for membrane filtration process of orange juice with 13% total solids at 30 degrees Celsius. The density of carbohydrate present in orange juice is 1593 kg per meter cube. We have to find the osmotic pressure of orange juice using this is Bantoff equation and Gibbs relationship. This question is from the book Introduction to Food Engineering by Sir R. Paul Singh. So here in this question, concentration of solids is given 11%, that we can refer as 0.11 kg solids per kg product. Similarly, temperature is 20 degrees Celsius and we have to convert in absolute temperature as given in the equation 293 Kelvin. Molecular weight we consider for the glucose, that is 180 kg per kg mole, similar to glucose, and R is equal to 8.31 kg 8.314 meter cube per kilopascal per kg mole Kelvin. So here the density of orange juice can be found using this equation and given as where we rho equal to 0.11 multiplied by 1593 into plus 0.89 into 1000. 1000 is equal to density of water equivalent, and so this is 1065 into 0.23 kg per meter cube. Then you can find the concentration can be estimated as C equal to 0.11 into 1065.23, that comes from this one, and we give this is 117.18 kg solids per meter cube product. Therefore, using Van 't Hoff equation, we can find pi equal to CR2 upon m. So this is pi equal to CRT upon m, and this give you pi given all the values equal to 1585.84 kilopascal. So further osmotic pressure using Gibbs equation, based on total solution we have to find mole fraction, that is XA, this is 0.89 upon 18 divided by 0.89 upon 18 plus 0.11 upon 180, that is gives 0.9878. So this is the mole fraction of pure liquid. Similarly, molar volume for water, we use this equation, and this gives you the 0.011 meter cube per kg mole, and therefore osmotic pressure using Gibbs equation, pi equal to minus RT ln XA upon Vm, and this give you this equal to 1573.79 kilopascal. So using Van 't Hoff equation, that we found as 1583 kilopascal near value, and for osmotic pressure using Gibbs equation we found 1573.79, that is similar to this value. So we can determine the osmotic pressure using these two equations, Van 't Hoff equation and Gibbs equation, and this osmotic pressure must overcome when we use reverse osmosis as a membrane separation process. So the another equation for measuring membrane performance is used by developing a relationship between the flux through a membrane and pressure differential across, and this equation is given by the Hazen-Poiseuille's law and very useful in developing a relationship between the flux through a membrane and the pressure difference across it, and expressed as N, and where N is the flux of solvent permeation, is equal to J is the flow rate upon A is the area of membrane, is equal to Kp multiplied by difference between del P minus del pi. Kp is the permeability coefficient, J is the flow rate, A is the area of membrane, del P is the difference in transmembrane hydrostatic pressure, and del pi is the difference in osmotic pressure between the feed solution and the permeate. So using this equation we can find the flux through membrane by establishing a pressure differential across this transmembrane hydrostatic pressure and osmotic pressure. The performance of membrane system is often described by two factors. One is the retention factor, and expressed as retention factor is equal to difference between concentration of a solute in the feed stream minus concentration of solute in permeate stream to the concentration of solute in the feed stream. So using this equation, Rf equal to Cf minus Cp upon Cf, we can find the performance of membrane system established as retention factor. So another factor used to describe the performance of a membrane system is the rejection factor, or denoted as Rj, and presented as Rj is equal to Cf minus Cp upon Cp. So this is the rejection factor. In retention factor, this was Cf. Further, membrane performance may be expressed as molecular weight cutoff. We have heard many times for reverse osmosis we know that 200 to 300 gram per per mole molecular weight cutoff, or the maximum molecular weight for the solute to pass through the membrane. Membranes are classified according to their molecular weight cutoff, which is usually defined as a smallest molecular weight species for which membranes have more than 90% rejection. So, molecular weight cutoff is defined as a smallest molecular weight species for which membranes have more than 90% rejection. Another term used to denote membrane performance is conversion percentage, denoted as Z, and Z is equal to MP upon MF into 100, where MP is the product flow rate and MF is the feed flow rate. Thus, operating membrane for as a conversion percentage of 70% means that a feed of 100 kg per hour will yield 70 kg of permeate and 30 kg of retentant. So these were the terms that defines for membrane performance, either it is permeate factor or rejection factor, retention factor, or molecular weight cutoff, or conversion percentage. So here there is problem given on the Hazen-Poiseuille's equation for calculation of area of membrane. The question gives, during reverse osmosis operation, orange juice containing 7.8% weight by weight solids was pre-concentrated at 4200 kilopascal and 32 degrees Celsius, where the mass transfer coefficient is 6.22 into 10 power minus 3 kg per meter square per hour kilopascal. So we have to calculate the area of membrane required to remove 4 tons of permeate in a 10-hour shift. So in order to calculate the area of membrane for a given condition, that is 4 tons of permeate in 10-hour shifts, we apply this equation. This is N equal to J upon A equal to Kp into del P minus del pi. So for this we have given already flow rate. Flow rate we find 4 tons of permeate in 10-hour shift, that is 400 kg per hour. T equal to absolute temperature, that is 32 degrees Celsius equal to 305 Kelvin. Kp is given, coefficient, membrane coefficient. Del P, that is the transmembrane hydrostatic pressure, is 4200 kilopascal. Solute concentration here, this is given 7.8 weight by weight solids. So we use this. So first we find the osmotic pressure for this equation del pi, and this is using this concentration, solute concentration we find, and here this is 1017.13 kilopascals. Applying this equation in given this one, J upon A Kp into del P minus del pi, this gives area is equal to 20 upon 2 meter square for the given membrane area. So using this equation we can find membrane area. So applying this equation we can find for membrane area for any operations that works for a particular time or with given condition. We have to find the first osmotic pressure. Osmotic pressure, we generally use the equation of Van 't Hoff equation, and then we find use the Hazen-Poiseuille's equation, and with the help of membrane coefficient and difference between the hydrostatic pressure and osmotic pressure, we can find the flux or either flow rate or either area what we have to find. So that's all about the lecture 4. Here we discussed about the membrane performance and design parameter. This is very significant in terms of designing membrane separation operation and performance. In next lecture, that is the lecture 5, last lecture for the membrane separation of technology in the lecture series of this course, we will discuss about the membrane fouling and application of membrane technology in food processing operation in detail, where we will also consider some case study for the process especially used in dairy and food processing operation. So that's all. Thank you for your interest. See you in the lecture 5.